our house helps, our house managers, our nannies. Today we are going to be taking a deep dive into this very hot topic about our house helps and our house managers who help us to manage our homes. Hello guys, my name is Irene and this is Hairy Lifestyle. Here at Hairy Lifestyle, we are all about a healthy, wholesome lifestyle. Welcome to this video. As I said earlier, today I want us to look at our house helps and our house managers, or our nannies, those people who come and help us to run our homes. Personally, I've had house helps for the last 15 years, and I want to just say outright, I have had very many house helps. I have had very good experiences, and I've had some very terrible experiences. And I've learned a few things over the years, and I have to say that it's getting easier with time, and it's because of what I have learned and a few things that I have implemented. So in today's video, I want us to go through 12 points that help us and have helped me to have a better relationship with my nanny. Currently, I have a very good nanny, and these are the things that I have implemented to ensure that our relationship is good and that she stays with me for as long as it is working for both of us and in a very good working relationship. My number one point, ensure that you get your nanny from a neutral place. Yes, this has to do with how you source your nanny or your house manager. Now, many of us have this habit of maybe calling home our parents, our grandparents, our uncle, a relative somewhere, and tell them to send you a nanny, and that nanny may be related to you in one way or the other. Guys, this is the beginning of a disaster. I do not like the idea of hiring a nanny from a pool of my relatives or something like that. The other way you can make this mistake is when you see a friend or a relative, a sister of yours has a good nanny, then you tell them, please ask your nanny to bring me their relative, their sister, their friend to become my nanny. So the reason why I say this usually doesn't work is because it just creates a funny environment where this nanny knows you at another level, knows you at a personal level. You can go to shads and start hearing stories of yourself. Hey, by the way, uko kwao, huyu mama amekalia mzee sana. Or you hear stories of uko kwao, wanaishi vibaya, they are so poor. You just start hearing your stories and airing around the family. If you go to your nanny from your mommy, and then you have an issue with your nanny, she goes and now starts telling on you to your mother or telling on you to the person who brought her to you. You'll have your uncle calling you and telling you, this nanny told me this, that you're doing this to her, that you're keeping her like this, that you did not do this and this that you were supposed to do. It just creates a very weird dynamic where this nanny knows you or knows your people at a personal level. If you hire a nanny from your friend's nanny, maybe you tell your friend's nanny to bring you a nanny, suddenly they start comparing notes and they're telling each other, uku kwetu I'm paid like this, or I use a washing machine, or I don't even wash the carpets are usually taken, I don't know where to be washed. Suddenly they start comparing notes, and you find your nanny coming to you and asking you to treat her the way the other nanny is treated in that other house. Yani, this whole thing of hiring a nanny from a neutral place can bring you a lot of drama. So in my opinion, whatever you do when you're sourcing for your nanny, ensure that you get your nanny from a neutral place. Don't get your nanny in a pool of relatives or friends and all that, because that creates a very weird dynamic. Number two, know what works for you. Yes, it is important for you to be sure what kind of nanny you want. Do you want a house help or do you want a houseboy? Do you want a nanny who is very young, maybe in their early 20s, and maybe is not even a parent? Or do you prefer a middle-aged person who is already a parent? Do you want a nanny who's in her 50s? Do you want a nanny who is in your tribe, or a nanny that comes from another tribe? This doesn't mean that you're being tribal. Some people want a nanny who speaks their tribe so that that nanny can also help to teach their children their tribe, and there's nothing wrong with that. So it is important for you to know what you're looking for so that you can get the right person who works for you. I personally don't feel very comfortable working with nannies who are much older, yet there are people who say these are the best nannies, they know how to run a home. I I don't like nannies who are very, very young, yet some people find that they want a nanny who's very, very young, who they can train for themselves. They don't mind somebody who does not have any kind of experience. So it is up to you to know what you're looking for in terms of age, in terms of experience, in terms of gender, in terms of tribe. There's no right or wrong. It is absolutely about what you want. Number 3, make sure you get the ID and the next of kin of the nanny that you're hiring or the house manager that you're hiring. You want to know where this person comes from. You guys, we are living in very, very crazy times. We have seen nannies who steal children. We have seen nannies who steal everything in the house and run away. So in this day and age, you cannot afford to have a nanny who you are not able to trace. Now, when she comes to you, you may just get her ID and a few details about her, but as she stays with you longer and longer, make sure that you take time to understand where this lady or this guy comes from. Make sure that you get to be able to trace them, so that in case of anything, you're able to know where to go from there. Imagine showing up in a police station and saying, my child has disappeared. Then you're asked, what's the name of this nanny? You're not even sure about her names. You're not sure where she comes from. You don't even have a copy of an ID. The cops just look at you and tell you there's nothing we can do to help you. So it's up to us to make sure we get the right information about our nannies. Something can happen to that nanny. What if she falls sick when she's in your house? What if, God forbid, she dies? Where are you going to go? What are you going to do with her? So it is important that you get all the information you need to get about that nanny and keep getting much more information as you stay with her. Number 4, make sure that you're paying your nanny well in terms of salaries, in terms of benefits. You need to make sure that you're paying her well. And when I say pay well, I'm not giving you a figure. It's up to you to decide how much you're going to pay this nanny, but do the very best that you can to make sure that she is well remunerated. Most nannies leave us and go to other jobs simply because they're looking for that extra 500. They're looking for that extra 1,000 shillings. So if you're in a place where you are financially able to pay these people well, pay them as well as you possibly can. You guys, pay them the way you yourself would like to be paid. They do a lot of work for us. I know we're in tough economic times and it's not always easy, but deep down in your heart, don't be that person who is able to pay someone more, but you pay as little as possible. Let's get into the habit of honoring these ladies and these young men who work for us, and let us pay them well. Let us also make sure that we are paying them for any extra time that they give us. We don't own these people, so if they work overtime, if they work over their holiday time, if they work over the weekend when they're supposed to be off, it is important for you to make sure you remunerate them and you pay them for their extra time and all the time that they give to you. Oh, and by the way, paying well includes paying them on time. Don't delay their salaries. Don't be that person who pays whenever you feel like. These people need their money on or before end month. Make sure you give them their money on time. And if you're not able to give their money on time, make sure you explain yourself. They'll understand, but don't be in a habit of delaying their salaries for no reason at all. Number 5, make sure you give your nanny a contract. It is important for you to see your nanny as a worker like any other worker. If you're employed, even you are happy to have a contract, and in this contract you need to stipulate how much you pay them, when their off days are, how many days of leave they're supposed to receive. Even in the contract you can stipulate their roles and responsibilities. Having a contract is a very good place to start with your nanny, so that everything is clear from the get-go, so that nothing goes wrong. Give them a contract. They are a worker like any other worker, and that makes you also realize they're a worker and treat them as a worker. They're not your personal belonging. You have just employed them for their time. Number 6, train them thoroughly and create structures. Yes, it's important for you to train your nanny yourself so that you show them exactly how you want things done. If you guys don't take salt or don't take certain spices or cook your food in a particular way, it is your responsibility to ensure that you pass that knowledge to your nanny or your house manager in the best way possible. Yes, you can take them out to be trained, and some of them come to us from a training institution, but make sure you fine-tune and make sure that they're trained to understand what you want and what you require from them. Also ensure that you create structures. This is where it needs to be very clear what their workflow is all about. I've seen people with very nice timetables where they know what is being cleaned today, what are we cooking today, what we clean every week, what we clean every month. Create structures and make sure you train your nanny for yourself and train them thoroughly. Number 7, care for your nanny genuinely. She's a person like any other person. You know the way you want to be treated in the office. You know the way you want your boss to notice if you're having a bad day and they are kind enough to you. Do the same to them. Care for them genuinely. These guys are going through tough times. What they earn is not a lot, and some of them are educating their children. They're also taking care of their parents back at home. They have very many responsibilities. If you see your nanny is in a bad mood and she's not talking a lot, be the bigger person and approach her, draw her out and talk to her. Many times you'll realize that they are in this kafani mood just because something is not going well back at home, or they have received some bad news concerning their children and their things. They're just human like us. For myself, when I'm going through a tough time, I can also be quiet, I can be withdrawn. So be the bigger person, care for this person, ask them how their life is going, ask them how their children are going. Just the same way you'd love to be treated, treat them in the same way. Number 8, correct them in the right way. Correction is a very big thing. We all have our own kinds of struggles in terms of how we take correction and how we take criticism. So ensure that you correct them in the right way. Don't be shouting at them. Don't correct them in front of people or even in front of children. If something has gone wrong, learn how to take them aside and talk to them in a gentle way. Correction is one of those things that has to be given in a gentle way for it to be received. So anytime you have a tiff with your house help and you need to correct her and you need to have a talk with her, do it in the right way and you'll have a much better relationship with her. Number 9, just as you correct them in the right way, ensure that you reward them for good work done. The rule of thumb is correct privately but reward publicly. Every time they do something that you're happy with, ensure that you let them know. Give them those accolades, pat them on the back, give them that extra shilling for the work they have done well. The more you correct them in a nice way and reward them for work they have done well, the better your relationship will be, and probably the longer you will be able to keep this nanny with yourself. And who wants to have turnover of nannies every time? So when they do something right, make sure that you reward them for that. Number 10, do not overwork your nanny. Oh wow, in this country we are so guilty of that. Your nanny is supposed to wake up at 4, wash the car, wash the house, prepare the children, take them to school, make sure breakfast is cooked, do all the housework and all that. Ask yourself, can I manage all this work if I'm given this work? So ensure that you're not overworking your nanny. Don't let your nanny go to bed after midnight and have to wake up at 4. Don't be that person who then give your nanny her leave days or give her off days. These people need rest. So ensure that the work you're giving them is something they can handle. And if you have more work than what they can handle, get help for them. Get gadgets that make their work easier. When you do this, they have a much better working relationship with you. Don't overwork those nannies. Put yourself in their shoes and know how much they can handle at a given time. This is especially true when you have small children. Know what your nanny can handle and don't give them more than what they can handle. Number 11, create a good working environment and a good living environment. Don't let your nannies live in bad conditions. If your place is cold, ensure that where your nanny is sleeping is as warm as the rest of the house. If you let them have a nice place where they can sleep, let them have a nice place where they can keep their belongings, you guys. They're not supposed to occupy the smallest space in your house. Do the best that you can to create a good living environment for them and a good working environment for them. As you give them a good open working environment, they'll be able to tell you more about themselves. You'll be able to learn about them. You'll be able to know what they're going through and what they're facing and what they're feeling. If you want your nanny to last with you, you have to create a good working environment and you have to create a good living environment for them. Number 12, the last one, know when to let go. Be able to read the signs of the time, be able to read those red flags, and when you have those red flags and you know things are not working, accept things are not working and let them go. When the time comes for them to leave you, maybe they want to pursue their education, maybe they found another job, maybe they want to get married, be there to celebrate them, release them in a good way. Know when it's not working and let it go, and when they need to leave you, let that part be a wonderful, wonderful part, especially if they have served you well. And guys, those are my 12 points that I want to leave with you when it comes to having a good relationship with your nanny. And I know this is not everything. If you have your own points, share with them down below. We are all in this. We are all learning from each other. And when you have bad experiences, just learn how to implement some of those things. Talk to other fellow moms who are having good nannies. Learn. We are all here to learn. Learn how to have a good relationship with your nanny. Do everything you can to have a good relationship with your nanny. I hope you've picked something from this video, even if it's one point that you can implement in your life. That just makes my day to know that what I'm sharing is relevant and helpful to you. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to turn on your notifications. Thank you for hanging out with me. I'll see you in my next video. Bye bye.